I got quiet?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Greetings and salutations all. And welcome to Dress Code. I don't know what this energy is, but this is what we're going with tonight. It's a little bit like narrator of a fucking scary stories to tell in the dark.
Oh, yes.
It's a little crypt keeper. It's a little grandma. It's me, Anastasia. It's just all over the place. But you know what? It's Friday. This is what we're getting.
Yes. It's.
How's everybody doing?
Did anybody do any Black Friday shopping today?
Oh, yeah. It's that, isn't it?
It is, apparently.
Apparently.
Word on the street is.
Well, I am what the kids call broke, so if I was going to do any shopping today, would have been the day, but I did not.
Oh, yes. Remember shopping. Oh, it used to be fun.
In a galaxy far, far away.
You mean in a galaxy bra way?
Oh, of course. After the Empire clapped back.
Okay, well, we don't have our craziest amount ever.
No.
We've got 20-something looks, 24, 25, I want to say.
It's still always too many. I cannot wait until we are back to a single season of Drag Race.
Oh, hello, the suit burns better. I was thinking that'll probably be here soon. Hello.
Lizzie and I are going to start taking bets as to who's going to show up in the chat first.
Oh, Suit Burns Better says it's Thanksgiving is next week.
Excellent.
So we have 1 week to see if we are spoiled in riches to...
Everybody place your bets. Place your bets. Place your bets. Yeah, Black Friday becomes before Thanksgiving because capitalism is more important than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Gay Jesus is here. How nice.
Hello. Well, we have some looks to get through. We are down to our final four on Drag Race UK, and their runway theme was Oh My Goddess, I believe, something like that. Celestial Bodies. There's always a fucking colon subtitle with these runways now, because they've moved through so many, like, I guess easily identifiable ones. They're just like, you know what? Appendix runway look. So, starting off, we have Miss Rhinestone Fashion Brand, Crystal Versace, in her gold and I couldn't tell if it was like a brown or like a really deep red. I think it's this like kind of mahogany colored velvet.
Yes.
This was all right for me. I was talking to Lizzie about it beforehand. This, to me, was a little too close to what Jujubee did for the All Stars 5 finale, which I think was such a really incredible look and such a like a wonderful homage to her like heritage as well, that this felt, to me, a little bit hollow in comparison. I also didn't really like the chain detailing on the cat suit. I found that kind of distracting. It looked sort of like loose threads to me. And I think she could have honestly done without the wig in this one. I think the headpiece is strong enough that I don't think she needed that long blonde hair. But those are my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I thought if you're going to do brown, this brown is the expensive, lush brown. It's very nice. Yeah, I liked this until I kind of noticed that it was that switch sequin fabric, which I kind of just don't, I don't know. Now when I see it, it just feels like, oh, it's that. And I'm with you on the gold chains. There's too few. They're too small and just oddly placed. Yeah. I really liked it, but I think a lot of it was that I liked the whole package together. I liked the ledge that she created with the white eyebrows and the makeup. And I think that I was thinking when I watched this, I would have loved to see some kind of like major turquoise accent in this.
Ooh,
I think that would have been nice. Yeah.
I think something I'm also realizing about this is like, I think this look is just really reminding me of the look she had on in the acting challenge last week where she was supposed to be C-3PO.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, I'm making that connection as well.
Yeah, very similar, though. Yeah.
Okay, Miss Elevide as the Queen of the Skies. She's got a Virgo constellation. Is
Yes.
that the right one? I don't know anything about astrology. I'm a bad queer person. Sorry, I'm a bad queer white person. That's all we care about. This was a little disappointing for me. I do agree with all the comments that the hair should have been styled differently, um, but just in terms of the way that this is presented, leaves me wanting more. I think the way that the fabric, particularly along the arms, looks as if it's like shredded and not cut, is a bit of an issue for me. It makes it feel like that part of the garment was rushed a little bit, and it feels like it sort of cheapens it, which is unfortunate. Because there's a lot of like stoning detail on this, and I think the concept behind it is cool, but the execution of it wasn't my favorite.
This the stoning detail is doing a ton for the garment. I feel like this is one of those things that we could have seen it without and been like, where, with a bit more sparkle, it could have been passable, which this just is. Just passable.
Yeah.
And this, like, specific blue ombre hair with this kind of wave in it, I feel like that's very difficult to make look, like, not cheap, you know? It's hard to make that look very like expensive or luxe, and this was no exception to that.
Yeah. I also like I personally get more like superhero than I do goddess from this.
Same, yeah. But I
So it
mean, the celestial bodies subtext, I guess, is hit. But yeah,
yeah. Alrighty, Miss Vanity Milan. I wish that this had covered more of her body. I wish this like gold was more spread out. It feels very condensed, and it's also several different shades of gold, which I find a little bit distracting.
yeah. I also find the repeat shoes very distracting, especially when they're maybe not the best suited to the outfit. And with this one, I really liked it. But if I saw this on the runway without knowing the theme, I would have thought that maybe this was like 90s fashion recreations. Because when you do this, all I can really ever see is like vintage Chanel, Evangelista kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it kind of leaned in that way. It's beautiful, but it didn't, I don't know, for some reason it didn't give me exactly what it should have.
It's also giving me like Beyonce tour costume,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I mean that as a compliment. Like it looks like a great performance costume, but I don't think it meets the brief for that reason.
It's like there's a lot of really good ideas in it, but like the gold, they're all a slightly different tone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Kitty Scott Claus as literally the first thing I thought was Kylie Minogue Aphrodite tour, um, and yeah, I think this was my favorite look of the night. I think this was the best executed and showed off Kitty's like aesthetic style really well. I like that it is this sort of like Grecian depiction with this sort of modern cutesy kind of girl group cherub aesthetic. And I like the proportions on this. I really like the color scheme, the sort of soft, like soft golds almost, and the I like the way that her hair is structural in a different way than we've seen a lot of structural wigs recently. It's been a lot of these sort of like tendrils or like finger wave type things, kind of around the hairline and going down, whereas this is a bit more of a like crown, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, smart to go Grecian with a goddess theme because there's so many things that immediately you're going to connect that. Um, and I like with this too, she kind of achieved the wet fabric look with a lot of the draping, especially
Mm-hmm.
in the gold. And I appreciate that detailing. It gives her a very like I could be a sculpture one day kind of look. Yeah.
Sculpt me like one of your Greek girls.
Yeah, this was also one of my faves of the night. I loved it. And that's it.
It's hard to believe we've made it. We're almost at the end of our second season of Drag
Yeah.
Race here on Dress Code. My
I
God.
know. I know. So wild. Wow, we've really picked apart a lot of people's work.
Sure have. Sometimes multiple times in the same episode.
Well, on to Canada's Drag Race, where we've got the Sinner's Ball.
The Sinner's Ball, split up into 3 categories. Our first one being sex, drugs, and rock and roll, which are 3 of my favorite things. So, up first we have Pythia. Pythia. I really like this. Is it kind of on the nose? Yes, but it's also like my favorite kind of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's like 80s trashy hair metal, which just makes me happy. I love this giant purple mullet. I love the tiger print bikini and thong. I like the leather detailing. I wish there'd been a little more leather on the upper body, because I do agree that it sort of like weighed down that one pant leg, to have this just like sort of really heavy thing sort of like covering the shoe as well. But overall, I really like this.
If I had one big spiked epaulette, like Guar style, on the shoulder
Yeah.
opposite the gauntlet arm she's got, that would have really balanced this for me. I loved this one huge leg, this Lee Bowery sort of nod of having the like tube leg and then one shapely leg. Super cool. And I'm like really into tiger print right now, and especially this yellow. I love this, and I thought she looked really hot. So
I mean, I painted myself as a tiger on Wednesday.
oh
so
yeah.
I also might be slightly biased.
Yeah, definitely a toot from me.
Alrighty, Miss Kendall Gender, cosplaying as Evie Oddly. I liked this. I think this probably, to me, this would have worked better for like last week's runway a little bit more than what she wore.
Yes. Oh my God, you're right.
Also, speaking of this, because it's a bodysuit, and I remember this, at the very beginning of this week's episode, when we saw them all coming back into the workroom, underneath, like, Kimura's thing was not a full gown. It was a bodysuit with a skirt.
Oh.
And I think, like, and she was just wearing the bodysuit when she came back in, and I thought it looked way better.
Oh wow. Wow, way better yet. What like if I mean all we hear now is it's just a bodysuit. It's like it's such an easy critique that the judges throw out now. And I think I heard Brooke say it like 4 fucking times this week. It just, I don't know. I hate when they give the audience these like catch lines to give
Yeah.
fake criticism. Yeah.
Because there are some really good bodysuits out there.
Oh my God, yes. And so what if you look good in it and you deliver something amazing in it? That's, that's what people want.
Exactly. Bodysuits are a staple of drag wardrobes for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway. I wish this was a little dirtier. If it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll, like, again, I'm getting a superhero from this, which is not a bad thing, but it doesn't give me quite as much rock and roll. And it's a basic thing, but I think had she been wearing like a fishnet with this, it honestly would have taken it there for me.
Ha, that's funny. Yeah, I agree. A fishnet would have done it, a little rip in it here and there. Yeah, this is, I mean, I can see her performing like in a rock show in this, but it definitely feels like a Miley Cyrus, I'm so rock and roll now kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like pop does rock.
Oh my God, yes, gay Jesus. No rock and roll was harmed in the making of this outfit.
No rock was rolled in the making of this outfit.
Yes, totally. But I think I really love this. I think a few of Kendall's looks haven't felt like really well fitted, or like the padding wasn't going great with the shape of the garment, and this was an exception for me, and I thought she looked really hot.
Her shape is lovely in this.
Yeah, and she gave a really good like runway performance of this, so I was here for it.
Oh yeah. On to the next one, geometric. I didn't like this. Because it I'm trying to talk about the main reason why I didn't like this. It felt a little too, like, children's television show presenter like costume.
Yeah.
If
The
that, yeah, if I had to narrow it down.
I don't know why she's got like a fuzzy on her nipple. I hate that. I hate that this is like the same silhouette as the first design challenge that she
Yes.
lost. I hate, listen, I hate guitars, so I hate that she's a guitar. I hate this. I hate this. And do you want to know what I hate more?
What?
This.
Oh, you warned me it was coming, but I still wasn't prepared.
I hated how she served this. It made me cringe so hard.
It it also really fucked with me because the way that this is cut out and the way that this is shaped and the fact that she's got this like detail on the shoulder and then this detail on the hip, if you turn her sideways, she looks like a killer whale. And I cannot unsee that.
It's like, or like a third leg that's blurred out of the picture. Like she's moving too
Yeah.
fast and we can't see it.
It's just like, yeah, this was not it for me.
Well, I'm
This is
glad.
not it for me.
I'm glad that everybody likes this screen grab, but I trust you. I want you to know there might be some better screen grabs tonight.
Yeah, Lizzie had to suffer through watching this episode to get us the screen grabs.
My goodness. All right. New look.
New look, Adriana. I liked this. I thought that this was like almost where it could have been. And I think that I just wish that there was like stronger asymmetry to it. Like I wish that the coat like actually made it all the way across her body, not just kind of like cut her down the middle. I wish that there was just like a little more divide between the two sides and a little more exaggeration that would have made it read stronger. That being said, I do like it.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Imagine on the first design challenge when Isis made her outfit, Adriana must have been like, fuck you. Fuck you
Yeah.
with your asymmetrical coat.
Now mine's gonna look worse.
I needed a bit more color pop in this. It's a little dark. But yeah, it gives a very certain era of rock. Like for me, this is like the woman that like Bruce Springsteen or Michael Jackson hires to be this incredible guitar player on tour.
Yes.
And she just comes out and has a moment
Yes.
in this outfit and that's it.
Yes, 100% that. She is the featured like guitar soloist.
Yeah, she's like back to back with the saxophone player doing a solo. Yeah.
Just that. Just that.
Yeah, so needless to say, I loved it.
It was a good one. All right, Isis Couture as Gem of the Holograms. I really liked this.
Me too. Loved it.
I do agree that I wish that, like, if I had to change one thing, I would have changed the proportion of the jacket. I would have made it either like really oversized or like a cropped bolero. But other than that, I loved the just like aggressive highlighter, like everything is everything about this.
Oh yeah, this. I can't remember her name. She was the lead singer of the Misfits. Ah, Slash. That's it, Papa Joe. Thank you. I loved Slash when I was a kid. I had this Barbie doll, and then I would take her clothes and put it on whatever Barbie I was playing with. Like this, when she came out, I'm like, oh, it's everything.
Yeah.
But man, when you say an oversized jacket, seeing like a very exaggerated, like Balenciaga kind of cut men's jacket on this, ooh, I love it.
Yeah, it's also giving me a little bit of Twisted Sister vibes, which I really like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this was a good one for me.
Yeah, me too. Oh, pizzazz, pizzazz. That's pizzazz. Okay.
Pizzazz. Alrighty, Cynthia Kiss. This is too clean for me. This is giving me like femme lesbian biker chick. And I get that she was going for like a sort of like vintage 70s take on sort of like a Rolling Stones groupie, but it doesn't give me like rock and roll. It gives me like rock and roll by association.
Mm-hmm.
And so it feels like it's skirting the theme for me.
Like she's the rich best friend of a person who actually is going to the show, and she was able to go buy all this outfit just to go to the show and be like, I love rock and roll.
Yes,
I'm loving it here.
it's so good.
Do you know who she should have called for this look? Tara,
Ghostbusters.
Tara Zepp.
Yes. Oh my
Tara could
god.
have been like, okay, I see where you're going with this. Now let me make it 7,000 times hotter.
Yeah, let me like add a bunch of studs to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's also like the makeup just reads very sort of like clean and classic. Like, it didn't really go anywhere for me. That being said, I do like the like slit detailing in the pants. I think that's cool. I like how high up it goes, and also like allowing the top of the pant to be fitted. It just like it's too clean.
Gay Jesus has a very good observation that it does feel like if Almost Famous and Clueless kind of had a
Oh my
baby.
god, yeah.
Really that.
All right. Miss Kimura Amore as Tina Turner. Um, I mean, it's a pretty direct reference, and it's a pretty solid one. I think this would be very hard to miss. And you know what? If you're gonna go rock and roll, go with like one of the powerful figures of it, and like
Mm-hmm.
one of the people who did it, who paved the way. I think this was a really smart choice for her.
Yeah, I would have liked to see the dip in the front be a little shorter or be more fringe. Like there was
Mm,
just something about the length of it coming to almost the knees that shortened her legs. And for me, when I think Tina Turner, I think legs.
legs.
So I would have liked to see this real high cut and exaggerating that.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, like bringing Tina Turner was a really smart choice for sure.
I think that also would have helped with the sort of. It doesn't look quite as well fitted around the middle as it would have liked, and if you'd like hiked up the sides of it, I think you would have
Mm-hmm.
hit her at a nicer place where
Yeah,
it's more lit.
yeah.
So that's all our rock and roll. Up next is our ugly runway. Ugly as sin?
Ugly as sin.
Ugly as sin. That's what it was. So, this was delightful. This is Pythia, and this is giving me strong Katya's ugliest dress runway. That just like gnarly crochet to business, but it's also giving me Club Kid. It's giving me this sort of like clown caricature. I can see this is all again. I've made this comparison before, and I know this is like not what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to compare the Drag Race performers, but like I could see Crystal Method in this,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean that as a compliment. It is very creative. It's very exaggerated. It's very colorful, and it's very like intentional.
Yeah, this is like my very favorite kind of drag. There's something this is so fashion. I really love it. It achieves the ugly brief, but also I would feel so cool wearing this. Yeah, this for me is probably one of my favorite things I've seen on Drag Race in general. Yeah, yeah, everything.
Pythia's really hit it out of the park with some looks.
Oh my
Like
gosh, have they ever?
between this and their like two-headed fortune teller, like they're they're pulling some punches. They're
Mm-hmm.
good for them.
Yeah, very good.
Okay. um, Kendall Gender as a cat lady with a cat that puked on her dress. The first thing I saw when this came around the corner was like a Hamburglar cosplay, um, which is, I mean, not the best.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know. Again, we're falling into this dilemma where we have to talk about ugly things again, and do I think this is ugly? Yes. Do I think the delivery of the narrative of it is like almost distracting from that? Also, yes. And I think that's why I have an issue with it. I don't think she needed to cough up a hairball on the runway. I don't think that was necessary, and I also just think that there could have been more done with this.
Yeah, and this is like Drag Race UK, where it was less about thinking of an outfit that was ugly, but then thinking of a person that it's like easy to poke at and who's like ugly in some sense, and that I'm
Mm-hmm.
just not a fan for of. So the characterizations being the actual runway, maybe not for me, and I think that with this one, like ugly as sin, it's one of those things like ugly is in the eye of the beholder, like Pythia said. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
they want you to present something that shouldn't work, but for some fucked up reason does. And this doesn't do that.
It's also interesting that we've gotten like a runway theme like this in every season so far. We had the fashion faux pas in All Stars, we had the Fugly Ball in UK, and now we have this one.
Yeah, very. I mean, if it was fashion faux pas, that one to me really is direct and helps
Mm-hmm.
give guidance. But the other two, nah.
Meh.
Yeah, no reveal either.
No reveal. Which is what I thought was gonna happen. All right, geometric in a bubblegum dress. Eh. Um, it took me. It wasn't until she explained what this was that I got it, which to me is a little bit of an issue. Um, it doesn't look ugly. It looks gross. Like I do not want to touch this garment, which maybe was part of the plan and the appeal. But I don't particularly care for the execution of this.
Yeah, this is too cute. This is cute and it's just gross and funny. Um, but yeah, I don't know. This just is, I don't know. I just thought it was cute. I was like, aw.
Yeah, it's all right. It's I don't know. Also, when have you seen like that much chewed up gum together look that clean?
Yeah, yeah, fully. I feel like she could have done a lot more with sticking more gum on herself going out, but
Yeah.
you know.
So, on to potentially my second favorite look of these past two episodes. This is Adriana, and if you haven't seen the episode, her presentation of this is incredible. It was so fucking funny. But also, this was just really well done. Like, this was really well thought out, and a really good example of how you can do something like quite simplistic and make it work with the theme. I think there was a lot of intention behind like the silhouette that was put into this, how it was constructed. It gave me like Comme des Garçons vibes, this like idea of sort of concealing the form and playing with it, and then the idea that this chunky heel was the worst thing she could possibly have on, doing a reveal of it at the end of the runway. This also just like this looks cozy. Like
Yeah.
I would take a nap in this outfit.
Yeah, I thought this really hit the mark. It was none of it should have worked. It's got these big crunchy frills everywhere, and the color palette is intentionally like not something you'd want to present on a runway. Um,
Mm.
Plus that hood done up real tight like that. Like who hasn't seen a meme where someone's face is scrunched in a hoodie and not thought, "Oh my God, you look so dumb." And then we also got this.
Uh, the fact that this was the first thing she did when she walked out. Oh, I just love someone who's like not afraid to look stupid. And like
Yeah.
not afraid to look bad and like have fun with it.
Yeah, she really did all of that. I loved it.
I do very much want to make that face my lock screen. Alrighty, on to Miss Isis Couture in yet another macrame look, another knitted look, another crocheted look. Um, I mean, this just kind of looks like blankets that have been belted around her. And unfortunately, like this compared to Pythia's is for me a downgrade. I think she could have done something more interesting with it, because you could still have sort of like structure to a garment without giving it like a flattering shape necessarily, and I think that's what's missing here for me.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's the shape of this. It's the fact that it makes her look very like um compressed and short.
Mm,
And it's not the garment, but for me the makeup was so off of what the garment was. Like they didn't connect for me.
mm,
Yeah. So not I really wasn't a fan of this. I thought it kind of like just tried really hard but didn't land.
yeah. All right.
Oh my god. This fucking bitch.
So, I I don't know what part about this was supposed to be ugly. I genuinely don't.
I mean, if we want to take her word for it, she thought that wearing short hair would be ugly.
And then during her critique, she was like, "Oh no, I'm stunning." I put it on. I was like, "Oh no, I'm stunning." Like, so this is my theory is that like we come across a couple of competitors like this every now and again where they're just like afraid to be ugly. They're afraid to be anything other than polished. They're afraid to like give up that control. And I think this is one of those instances because this is really cool. Like this is this fun like I get like 60s sort of like Playboy Bunny vibes from this. I get sort of like Legally Blonde vibes from this, and I cannot comprehend a world in which this something about this is ugly because
Even
it's
the
just
way she described it, she's even like, and I'm just surrounded in
yeah.
real ostrich feathers.
Like oh no,
Yeah, ew.
how unfortunate to be luxurious.
And these shoes, please someone give me these shoes. These shoes are my dream shoes. I loved them.
They
Ugh.
do look very cute.
Yeah, they had that big, like, funky shaped heel. They were real, like, cute 60s thing. Oh, oh.
It's just yeah, this really missed the brief for me.
I mean, look how even, like, the one arm out shows the one hand, and then the other hand on the other side is, like, balancing, and it's creating asymmetry with a symmetrical circle. Like, bitch, this isn't ugly. This is great.
Yeah, this is really cool. This is like very Moschino. Okay. Now, I do not, nor will I ever have anything of value to say about the significance of this look. However, I do think it's important that we take a minute to sort of look at how it was handled by the show. And the fact that when presented to a 75% white judging panel, um, the only person who was allowed or was given any sort of like screen time in terms of speaking on this look was Amanda Brugel, and that felt very intentionally like it was shifting the conversation between two people of color and not incorporating the significance of what this look was meant to represent with everyone else. Um, this was an incredibly brave and an incredibly like dangerous thing to do in terms of the vulnerability and the blatantness of what Kimura is trying to state. But I think this is one of the most incredible examples of using a platform for a message that we have seen recently, and this is very indicative of how powerful drag is and the conversations that need to be held in regards to the inadequacies that we as white people have brought into the world for the people of color that inhabit it. And this is something that proves that we in Canada are also not exempt from this discussion and from this history, as we unfortunately like to pretend that we are. So those are my thoughts on how this was handled. I don't know if it's appropriate to offer like kudos or congratulations to Kimura for doing this, but like I feel like it should go without saying that this was incredibly brave and incredibly powerful, and I hope that it made people think.
On the topic of only having Amanda Brugel speak on it afterwards, what I thought was a little imbalanced was that they had these very produced close up shots of all the white judges making just, these very concerned faces, very, very produced. I didn't love that because I felt like they were making these intentionally persuasive images of the White House being like, wow, I'm learning something here. And then they didn't have to talk or, you know,
Hmm.
step up to their whiteness in the conversation there. So, yeah.
It really did remove accountability from any of them, which is not the way that these things should be handled. Um,
No,
however,
and wait, and also for them to be like, this is so brave for you to bring this to this stage. I'm like, really? But why don't we have more black cast? Maybe that would be a brave thing to do. I don't know why we're, this it just seemed a little bit like empty when they could do more.
yes.
Yeah.
But we are now on to
Yeah,
our
we had
final category.
Safanda, but she had to
Oh,
leave.
shut up, Bombay. Oh my God. Yes, we've got Kendall Gender.
So the last part of this runway was they each had one of the seven deadly sins, and they had to make a look based off of a trunk full of materials that sort of like represent that. So this was Kendall Gender. I forget who was what now, but Pride. Was this Pride?
Yes, she did Pride, and she kind of took it more. She interpreted it like of what she's proud of instead of sinful pride.
Yeah, and that's an interesting approach. It's kind of flipping it on its head, but I don't think that was the brief for this time around. She also had a little like BLM embellishment on the back of this cape done in flowers, and the proportions that she made on this were quite deliberate in that this is something that black women have been stereotyped for, ridiculed for, is their shape. So I appreciate those acknowledgments and those attentions to details. However, I don't get like deadly sin from this. I get this as
No,
sort of like a reclamation, but I don't get deadly sin for this.
no, no, I don't. And I get the direction she's gone with it. And I think that quite a few of these went that way. But, and the execution just wasn't great. I do love, though, that she was like, I am going to bring everything I can, make a pattern, get this dress done. Like sometimes on Drag Race, I feel like completing something and being able to wear it, that's a huge achievement in the time.
Making stuff is hard.
Yeah.
Making stuff is really hard.
Yeah, especially when you don't get to like be like, "Oh, I don't like this version. I'm going to take another week and do it right." You
Yeah,
know?
you get one chance to make a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, good luck. Okay. Pythia as Gluttony. This was cute. I wish it had been bigger. I think for me, this was like, I think Pythia's weakest look for these three. I, again, it's also sort of like falls into that sort of schoolgirl aesthetic, which makes me a little bit uncomfortable. But yeah, it didn't do it for me. It's giving me Candyland,
Very Candyland. Yeah.
but that's about it.
Well, thank you, Pythia, for not doing the typical thing that I think we would have seen a lot of white drag performers do and put on any kind of padding or any kind of fat suit for this. So thank you for not
Yes.
being predictable, basic, and harmful. Um, Outside of that, seeing that like wrap on her head, all I could think was, I wish you had made that into more of a toothache thing, like that
Mm-hmm.
classic old thing where it's like, for some reason, their head was wrapped in a band.
Yeah, to just stop their jaw from moving or something.
Yes, love that. Would have liked to see this idea of had so much candy that like my teeth are rotting out and that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. But yeah, I thought it was cute.
It's cute.
I'm sorry, we got no full body versions of this look. I'm
That is
sorry.
okay. So now we have Geometric as Sloth, um, wearing Belle from Beauty and the Beast colors. But this again, like this looked comfy. I wanted to sleep in this, so I think it was effective on that front. I do like the little alarm clock fascinator, and I like that it kind of looked like a sleeping bag or a robe that was just wrapped around her. And she had a pillow as a bag. So the storytelling on this was good. Again, I don't get, and maybe this is just like my personal sensibilities, and by maybe I mean definitely, but I just like when I hear like seven deadly sins, I want some indication that like something about this is lethal or like detrimental to your health. And like just having bags under your eyes, like bitch, we all have those. You're not special.
Yeah, sloth isn't. I get they're given materials, and I'm sure that they can deduce from the materials what production hopes they'll do with it.
Mm.
So these are what she was given. I'm sure she was like, okay, I see what you want me to do. Um, but yeah, sloth isn't being tired or being lazy. It's being so absolutely stagnant that it again it's harmful. It's sinful.
Mm-hmm.
So, and to me, going to sleep with makeup on so that you can get up and work again is not like sloth like whatsoever. That's hustler.
Yeah,
Like
that's pride.
yeah. Yeah.
We've all done that.
That what I did really think was cute with this, which we can't see, is she had like a knee-high white boot and then like a little slipper cover over it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
liked that.
That was fun.
Okay, we also did not get a full view of this except this. I am so sorry, everyone.
That is okay. This is a rather unfortunate screenshot, though. So this was Adriana as Lust, and she did kind of what she said she didn't want to do, which was just kind of come out in lingerie.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was unfortunate, in that it didn't feel like it was quite complete, and it didn't really feel like it hit any marks for me. Um, it also like the way that it was designed made the breastplate look quite odd. It's sitting very high, and you know, as someone who has one of these, I know that the breasts are made to look like they're already in a bra, so they're very much displaced. But something about this particularly, because it's not with an underbreast bra, I don't think. It's just like making it sit in a very strange place. I also don't like the shoes.
Yeah, the shoes feel like, oh, I can wear these. They're pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I share all the same thoughts with you. I love what the chat said that some wilder, like just been fucked hair would have been
Oh
really
yeah.
good, like sweaty and wet. That would have been great. But my other thing I want to add to this is I really hated how the panty was like this big solid triangle on the front with the trim down the sides. It just
Oh
made it was very
yeah.
boxy.
Yeah, it was not good. All right, Isis Couture as Wrath. I liked this. I didn't love it. Um, I wish, like, if she'd gone the Hellraiser route, she would have gone a bit more full out with it. I do think the way that, like, the chain draping is. This reminds me a lot of the designer Amplify Apparel, who I worked with a couple times, who does a lot of, like, wearable art stuff with, like, chain and wire. Um, yeah, I just wish there had been something else to this.
When we say wrath, we Garden Plaza is saying this. Oh, this is more lust for me. Yeah, this actually could be very lust. Wrath, I guess, is just anger and violence combined in my mind. It's
Yeah,
a
I think, like,
very rage.
wrath is like the intent to cause harm.
Ah, okay. There we go.
I think it's just like one of those things where like I want to hurt someone some way. I want to retaliate. I want to inflict misery. Um,
Okay.
at least that's the way that I interpret it. So
Mm-hmm.
I like this to me is just kind of like a little bit bondage gimp, and that's about it. Maybe I've just like seen better fetish fashion that I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's also like the pose that she's in, even though she's got this like chain with this huge knife on it, she's walking with like both palms up, which is this very sort of like gentle body language. Um, so that's coloring my view a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, good point. I got a very those French artists. I mean, they ripped off somebody else, but the Matière Fécale,
Oh yeah,
yes, gives me very that.
it,
And fair enough. She can bite them. They bit somebody else, so that's fair. Yeah, this I thought she used the material she was given in an interesting way, though. And again, she said that she's a BDSM gal, so she must have known how these could fit, or knew, or
mm,
thought of some more interesting ways to use them. Yeah,
drag,
drag.
just drag. All right. Do you want to go first on this one?
Well, I hate it.
I
I
also
hate
hate
it.
it.
It looks like she just took fabric and put some staples in it, and it's like, it's a shirt.
Yeah, this is poorly fitting. This is poorly constructed. And it doesn't, like, this is supposed to be greed? Yes, because
Yes.
we've had gluttony. Um, it's, and again, this is one of the things, like she said in the workroom, that she's like, I want to make it that it's like almost too much. And this doesn't feel like it's too much to me. This is all like
No.
very much within the same color scheme, and there's like not some like obnoxious contrasting between the two faux furs or the three furs she's got on. Um, this is just kind of like gold and boxy.
Yep. No, there's no like big full draping, yet she's got these huge pieces of fabric. So that's a big miss. And yeah, all of these were performed poorly. I feel like coming out with a bunch of shopping bags is not communicating the message. Maybe having some as a reveal where you keep snatching them away from something, or like
Mm.
gripping onto them, like at least try to deliver something here.
Yeah. Also, the hat is like just small enough that it gives this strange proportion to the head and the hair.
Hmm.
Um, makes her head look a little bit like a chimney.
I forgot to make this point about Gia's with sloth.
Mm.
I mean, she should have just come out naked with all the materials and been like, I didn't do it.
That would have been great. That would have been great.
That's sloth.
It's almost like what Oceana did week one.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my god. If Oceana had gotten sloth and just like done the same thing,
Yeah.
that would have been great. All right. Kimura Amor as Envy. My biggest problem with this was the color of the corset.
Hmm.
Um, I thought that like the snake wrapped around her body was incredible. I think it was like it looked like it was made of hair, or it was like incorporated into her hair somehow, which I thought was really cool. She made a whole like envy fascinator.
But she didn't.
She didn't.
That was just on the box.
Oh, well, I mean, nobody else used that, so.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I just like I wish the corset was a different colored green, or I wish that the snake had been wrapping around and like making the corset.
Oh yeah.
Because I find this just like very bright green in between these two deeper ones very distracting.
So I have no idea what a voodoo doll has to do with envy. That makes no sense to me. Wrath, maybe,
Yeah.
not envy. I also have no idea what a snake has to do with envy. I mean, I think she's mistaking envy with the original sin and doing like a Garden of Eden thing. But
Mm-hmm.
this was one of my least favorite looks of the night. And on the same vein as Gia, when I was saying like, don't go like, hey, look at me, I'm Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
If you have to put the word on because you're like, I don't know if they're gonna get this, then I don't know if you hit the mark. So those are my thoughts on Kimura's.
That is very fair. It took me a while to realize that it was even envy in the fascinator. I thought it was just like more leaves. It wasn't my favorite choice that she made, and I agree with you that like if you have to spell it out for someone, then your concept probably isn't as strong as it needs to be. That being said, I think like the snake is really winning this over for me. It's a cool thing to have. It's just, sometimes drag is just cool things that you put on your body.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it works.
You know?
And that's that.
And that's that.
That's
all right.
all she wrote.
Oh, well, next week is the finale of Drag Race UK. We finally made it through a second one. And there's only, I swear to God, if they do a ball at the end of this fucking thing.
Oh, which they might, but then it's still only 9 looks.
Or, oh, you know what they're going to do? They're going to bring back all the eliminated queens. Fuck.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see how this goes.
Oh, yeah, we didn't cover Brooke's look.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get a screen grab of it, but we should talk about it. It was hot.
Good.
She looked great.
Thank you, Garden Plaza. Good call. Yeah, that was actually giving me very Terracep.
Yeah, totally.
But also it was giving me like an elevated version of her like season 11 promo, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, I mean, literally as soon as she walked out, I was like, oh, it's Tara, but drag. So I'm a little bit biased because Tara's fucking rad as shit.
Yes. Yeah, Brooke's makeup was really nice and different for her, and she takes risks. Like Amanda Brugel said, you know, I want to see her give one of the contestants, I wanted them to bring more characters, not just the same one. And Brooke is like embodies that. Every week is a full flushed out character.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Love it. She's got great reference points.
RuPaul's look was hideous.
Oh, it had so much potential. I love black and yellow together. I love polka dot. I love those layered frills. But what the fuck was going on with the fit?
Where was the skirt?
Yeah, it was so weird.
Where was the skirt? It was so fucking ugly.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was in our group chat today. Wasn't that Alberta was like, oh my God, what is Rue wearing?
And it was, and like, Zaldi still does all of her costumes, yeah?
Well, if the credits are telling us the truth, yes.
She needs people around her to tell her no.
When was the last
When
time
was the last time RuPaul looked good? Good question. When Matthew Anderson was still doing his makeup.
Yeah. No, Rude, sorry, no picture of it. I didn't get the host this week. Silly me.
No. So we're just talking shit to open air this time.
Yes.
It's like they're not here to watch us, so we're going particularly hard in.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, next week we'll see how many looks we have, but I'm excited.
Yeah, well, we're down to 6 girls on Canada's Drag Race now.
Oh, are we? Yeah. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
so.
because 7 Deadly Sins. I can
Oh,
do
yes. Ah!
Ayo.
Yeah.
Well,
Bruiser.
thank you all for tuning in for yet another episode of Dress Code. And until next week, stay fashionable and avoid as many of the deadly sins as you can. But, 1 or 2. That'll keep you going until next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.